Brady's leadership has been beyond doubt the biggest reason on the field that the Patriots have been the team of the decade in the NFL, and he, as the leader, should be the player of the decade. And he's shown that ever since he stepped in for Drew Bledsoe back in the 2001 season, after Bledsoe was basically knocked out of a game by the Jets. And what did Brady do? He came on as a second-year player, and he took that team by the horns and just led it throughout a season where they started out with 2 losses. Midway through the season, didn't have a great record. And then all of a sudden, they're winning like crazy down the stretch. And then, of course, they had the famous tuck game in the playoffs. And they wind up in the Super Bowl. And then they upset the Rams. It's rare that you ever see Brady get rattled. The only time would be when he has to face a really difficult pass rush and is not getting great protection, as happened when they lost the one Super Bowl of the 4 they made in this decade that they lost, which was to the Giants, and he was getting battered throughout that game. But if you give him any time, he's going to pick apart any defense. He is terrific at the line of scrimmage, changing plays. And you look at Brady's record throughout this decade, you see that this is a guy who gets better as every season goes along. He's great in the playoffs all the time, even when they lose. Just everything that adds up to someone who can be an athlete of the decade. Now, off the field, Brady's developed an aura as well. He is really the rock star of the NFL. Peyton Manning's kind of the comedian star of the NFL, as you know from seeing him on Saturday Night Live and in commercials. But Brady has a different kind of aura, and it's kind of like what you would expect to see from maybe a David Beckham or somebody like that. So, and that all ties into being named an athlete of the decade, because it's important if you're going to be considered with people like Tiger Woods, Lance Armstrong, Roger Federer, Michael Phelps. It's important that you transcend your sport. And more than anybody in the NFL in this decade, Tom Brady's transcended the sport.